Max Wardell here, overheadathletics.com. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to talk about the inverted W, the often dreaded inverted W, where you get your elbow too high while the ball is still down, and a few ways that you can work on improving your mechanics so you no longer access that position and don't expose yourself to unnecessary injury risk. I'm joined by Charles Donovan today, one of our former athletes, now instructors. Charles is going to kind of show us what that position looks like, and we'll talk about it just here a little bit. We see this in the major leagues. We see this at all levels of the game. We're a little concerned about this position where the elbow gets way above the shoulder while the wrist and ball are still down. Oftentimes this leads to the elbow dropping as the arm comes through, so the elbow's low as the arm externally rotates and the athlete runs into the end of their range of motion. Anybody can take their elbow, put it down here, bring it back, and then try to let their arm fall back, and you see that you don't have much range. As soon as you come up a little higher, all of a sudden you have a lot more range of motion. So we see athletes with elbow injuries, and we see athletes with shoulder injuries because they start too high and they have nowhere to go, so their elbow drops. The other reason this could potentially lead to injury is because the arm snaps back from all the way down here all the way back into layback. That's very different than the arm coming from here into layback, and we've seen videos, we've seen analysis of many of the most prominent names in baseball at different periods. It's pointed to this position as the reason for injury, and maybe this position is the reason for injury. Maybe it's just because of the way they're built and the way they move, because we see other athletes that go through a somewhat inverted position and don't access injury. But what the scientific literature would tell us is that we probably want to be anywhere from 30 to 45 degrees of external rotation. So here to here at the point where we get front foot contact or that front foot hits the ground. So what we're going to do here with Chuck is we're going to show him throw from an inverted position where he lifts that elbow way too high. So if you could just try to demonstrate one bad one here for me, Chuck. It could be even worse. Could be even worse. Let me see it. Let me see another one. So get that up way higher. And sometimes what you'll find is when you get really good at the throw, it's hard to do it the wrong way. We'll see that guys get way, way up high. That same position, go ahead and get set, Chuck. Now I want you to go with the ball up. So the first thing we'll do to try to correct this inverted position is take athletes into the exact opposite position. And go ahead and go. So now, as opposed to being low or too high here, he's actually at the perfect height and his ball is in the right position now. Let me see that one more time. You try to make these as lifelike as possible, as game-like as possible. Go. And so he'll build his intensity as he gets better mechanics. He's going to build his intensity through that new pattern. Now go ahead and get set here again for me, Chuck. What we'll have him do now is come up to a leg lift in that same arm position that he was just in. Go ahead. So now we're utilizing more of the throw. He's going through more of the mechanical sequence, and he's taking himself out of that position of fault. So from here, I'll have him actually go a little bit too far into that position, and he has to initiate his throw by coming out of it into a proper position. So now he has to initiate out of that position so that he realizes that that's not a good position he's supposed to be in. So now we've got one from the ER apex, two with the leg up. Now we're going to go from that inverted position and come out of it. I really don't like to spend a lot of time with this one. This is something I use in the first 1 to 2 times that I instruct an athlete when they display this fault and they don't have any arm pain. If you have significant amount of arm pain, I'm going to advise you to stay away from anything that puts you near this position. But if you don't have a significant amount of arm pain, I like the idea of you coming away from that position and then teaching yourself that that's probably not the best position for you. Now, after we've done a bit of that, I'm going to teach him to lift in the opposite direction. So now, as opposed to lifting here, he has to lift the other way with more what we call external rotation. Internal rotations this way, external rotations this way. So now you have to lift it this way, Chuck. Good. A very easy 4-sequence routine that you can do to improve your sequencing of your throw, eliminate or reduce some of that inverted W positioning where you're in too much elevation and too much internal rotation that we know exposes you to unnecessary risk. If you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We have a bunch of programs on our website where we take athletes through a 12-week progression to improve their mechanics and improve their ability to tolerate the stresses of the throw. If you like that, if you're interested in that, check out our website, overheadathletics.com, and we will see you guys in the next video.